when I look today I'm going to introduce Eli and Joseph. How much time do I have? How many things have they done in this community? Eli and Joseph came to San Miguel about 15 years ago, and they've been involved in countless community activities here. You should know their name. If you don't, you will today. Their background is in theater and arts administration and education. They're the co-founders of the Improv People. They also perform here in the theater. They've done theater workshops, motivational seminars for Joseph. He's an author. He's having an art show this weekend on the 23rd, right? So where do I stop, right? A couple of years ago, Eli created Out of the Blue. How many people saw Out of the Blue here? Okay. Award-winning Out of the Blue turned into a film and won war awards, okay? And with that connection, he ran into, I guess, a lot of solo artists, because this was kind of a mostly solo. You kept a part for him. So with that, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to bring up Eli and Joseph to talk about their next venture, the Solo Theater Festival. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay? So anybody who knows us even for 14 seconds knows that we're huge fans of acknowledgement. So we would like to acknowledge you. Please turn to your neighbor and simply say, thank you for showing up. 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 And of course, we thank you for showing up in the countless ways that you have helped this community and others.
I just want to remark about how much heart in the room, and I love to know that you're into fun, because that's what we're going to talk about. So before we start, I just want to ask a question. How many of you love feeling inspired with a great story? Yes.
And how many of you just like to sit around sometimes and be entertained? Well, you are in the right place today.
Yes, so I'm Eli Hans.
And I'm Joseph Bennett.
And we are here to talk to you about a unique theatrical event that's coming to San Miguel. This is a big dream of ours, something that felt like a calling, because it was scary to think about bringing something this big to town. But we really want to share with you about how this all came to be, and then what it is you're actually going to be seeing.
I like that he said that it was scary, because what has happened over the past 6 or 8 months is he is laid awake at night, and at 4 in the morning he'll say, what the hell, what the hell, what the hell? Why am I doing this?
Can you put the first slide up, please?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Nope. Here we are. So, it's called the San Miguel Solo Theater Festival. And I'm sure, any questions about what solo theater is? You all familiar with solo theater? Yes? No? Well, okay, so solo theater is one-person shows. Solo means alone. And even though it's supposed to be alone, really, there's so many people involved in creating a show like that. And solo theater, from our experience, is an incredibly inspiring, creative, moving, mesmerizing thing to watch, because a solo theater artist often creates 10 to 25 different characters to tell their compelling story. So can you go to the next slide? So, or I have the thing here. We are bringing you 6 phenomenal one-person shows from New York, Chicago, Denver, LA, San Francisco, and San Miguel. And yes, Out of the Blue is one of them. That's what we call a mostly solo show, because Joseph does show up in the third act of it. But we're bringing Call Me Elizabeth, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. And Out of the Blue, Every Brilliant Thing, Borscht Belted, Being Richard Green, and Border People. And it's divided in 2 weeks. They begin on March 14, 15, and 16. So these shows are repeated twice. So you have an opportunity to see one or the other of each of these shows. There's one show at 5, They last about 60 to 75 minutes, a little break, and then the next show at 7:30. Next slide. So I want to tell you about the first show, Call Me Elizabeth. Or before we do that, should we talk about how this all came to be?
Oh, yes, I would love that.
Yeah.
So during COVID, who here has ever heard of COVID? Eli turned 60, and he gave himself a gift. And the gift was...
The gift I gave myself was to follow my joy for 30 days, and just as an experiment to see what would happen. And at first, I didn't know really what that was or what to do, because I was so into work. At the time, we were doing interior design, and we're keeping ourselves busy, right? So I thought, oh, I'm going to take a nap without guilt today. Yeah, that's going to be joyful. Then I started reading novels instead of self-help books. And then I did something I hadn't done in about 30 years. I started singing. And I used to sing when I was younger, and for some reason, I quit. I had a big loss, my former partner, and I quit singing. So I started reconnecting to that, and I got some karaoke tapes, and during COVID, we made a video of a song that I wrote. I wrote a parody from Little Mermaid, It's Part of Your World, about my wish for the world through COVID. And we did a very informal video, and I posted it on Facebook for my family and my friends. And soon, we started getting responses and views from people we didn't know in India, in London, in South America, telling us, oh my God, this touched me so much. I was in tears watching this. So I thought, wow, I hit on something. What is this, right? You know, when we follow our passion, our deep, deep passion, something happens, and shifts begin to happen in the world. So I thought, this is something meaningful. So we were at home. Remember 2 years of being home doing nothing, right? 9 years earlier, when I was 54, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had a rare stage 3 lymphoma, and I had about a 10% chance of survival. And I had a miraculous healing journey that was so filled with beautiful, beautiful events. I started writing about it. Well, guess what? It soon started becoming a musical. I didn't want it to be a musical, but it just started becoming a musical because I had just connected to my passion. And it was the kind of thing that I don't know how to express this, but I can only say it was a calling, because I knew that I wasn't writing it. It was just coming down. I didn't know anything about orchestrations. I taught myself how to do orchestrations. I play the piano, but I thought, oh, I want some strings here, and now I want some brass here, and oh, a little flute needs to be. So I learned how to do all the orchestrations for the song. My dream always growing up was to be on Broadway. I always wanted to be an actor on Broadway. So I created my own little Broadway show out of the blue. And 2022, which is about my cancer healing journey, when I realized that in order to truly heal, I had to really make peace with my past as a gay boy growing up in a very conservative Jewish Mexican community in Mexico City. And what happened after that? And I told Joseph, who's going to want to see this story? This is my own personal story, but somehow it just had to be told. During a time when all of us were really looking at our mortality. And I felt this is the time to tell the truth, to be authentic, and to do something real. You know, social media is so artificial. So 2022, March 2022, was the first show that was done at the Teatro Santa Ana after their big remodel. You know, they had a big $250,000 remodel. We were one of the first shows, and I had no idea if anybody was going to come or not. Well, every show was sold out, and we got standing ovations, but more than anything, after the show, nobody wanted to leave. And I thought, what's going on? They wanted to have a conversation about what they had just experienced. And even though the show is about my personal story, the feedback we received is that the universal themes of wanting to be loved, feeling like an outcast sometimes, or feeling like part of us is broken, it's very universal human experience. So audiences were very uplifted and very inspired. We heard amazing stories coming out of it. People who, well, I don't want to tell you those things because they were personal, but really beautiful. So what happened after that is we thought, let's go to the Hollywood Fringe Festival and see what happens. And I told Joseph, well, I think we just had success here because everybody's nice in San Miguel. And everybody knows us, and they were just saying, oh, that was nice. But what's going to happen in Hollywood? We don't know anybody. So there we went. We showed up in Hollywood. There were about 300 different shows in our little show. We only did 2 performances. Guess what? Same identical response from people we didn't know. Those shows also sold out, and they also wanted to stay for talkbacks. Well, we won the Encore Producers Award, which is very few of the shows get that, and we were nominated in 6 categories by Broadway World LA, and I won runner-up for Best Solo Performance in Los Angeles after only doing 2 shows. So we thought, wow, there's something here. Through that experience, we met a lot of wonderful solo theater artists that shared their stories that are also very raw and brave and autobiographical, most of them, about resilience. That was it. I told Joseph, we have to bring this to San Miguel. It's such a unique, powerful, inspiring, highly entertaining form of theater. We have to bring it to San Miguel, and that's where all of it began. Last May, we started interviewing, and we wanted to bring you a variety of shows, because there's a lot of different styles. Some are autobiographical, about their own challenges. Some are about celebrities or historical figures. Some other people wrote, and yet they're about very important subject matter. So we're going to tell you about them now. Yes? Everybody good?
So this first one is Call Me Elizabeth. That is not a picture of Elizabeth Taylor. That is actually a photo of the actress, Kayla Boy, and she is from Chicago, Illinois, and she performs a one-woman show on the story of Elizabeth Taylor. It is gorgeous. We saw it live. That's where we met her. She was actually the inspiration for this festival. When we saw her work, we thought, how are we going to get her to Mexico? So we're producing this entire festival based on her. And I'm going to jump ahead and just say that she's teaching a master class about choreography. So if you've ever wanted to do a little bit of dance, she was in the musical Chicago, and she's teaching Bob Fosse master classes here in San Miguel. One master class.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things. Aside from the shows, there are master classes that each of the actors is teaching. There's also a Q&A panels where you can come in and ask them anything. And there is, well, we'll get to it in a minute, but there's a student showcase that's going to be great. So Kayla had her world premiere at the Hollywood Fringe when we met her. She had a sold-out off-Broadway run, a critically acclaimed sold-out run at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and as Joseph said, she's going to be teaching this wonderful master class.
And she's a playwright. She wrote this story, and it's gorgeous.
And Kayla, I really believe, was born during that era, because you know, in that era, the cadence of how actresses spoke in those classic films, she just kind of embodies that even in her regular life. So she's amazing. Here's a trailer. Can you play that? So just a little teaser of what you're going to be able to see. The next show is
Every Brilliant Thing. And when I went to an artist residency in Montgomery, Alabama, part of my residencies is I go to theater and dance and live events. And I went to see Every Brilliant Thing. And I called Eli afterward and I said, I just saw one of the best pieces of theater I've ever seen in my life. It is a one-person show, and it is not autobiographical for this actor. So it's been licensed, and other actors can take it and tour it, and this is what she is doing. And it is the story of a mother who attempted suicide and is in the hospital. and her young daughter, or son if it's being played by a male, starts to write down every brilliant thing that is available to us in the world, everything that makes us happy. And I'm sure Rotary, Midday Rotary San Miguel is in there listed. And it's a participatory show. So in this particular theater next door, Teatro Santa Ana, the audience is going to be sitting on the stage, and you will be given lines of what to say. When she says number 68, and number 68 will call out butterflies or whatever it is, the young actor is trying to come up with all of the gorgeous moments of life to keep her mother alive. And then as she goes through and gets older and older, the progression of her life, the list grows and grows. And what you're really going to love about this is that at the end, you will get a piece of paper or a Post-it note, or we're not exactly sure the logistics of how we're going to do it, but you get to write down one meaningful thing for you that helps keep you alive or inspired. And then that will all be available in the foyer. So when people are coming through the foyer, they get to read, what is that? And all of these gorgeous, momentous moments in our life.
The list keeps growing, and in the show, it starts with just a few things, and by the time she becomes an adult, there's thousands of wonderful, inspired things to make life worth living. So even though it's dealing with a difficult topic of depression and suicide, it has a very positive approach. So it's a great show. And
so this actor is Terry Waggett, and she is from New York City, and she will be bringing this show for 2 shows. Each actor is doing 2, as Eli said, and she'll be teaching a master class in our studio, and it is called Dialects and Accents. So I don't know if you know how some people talk in different actors and where they come up with that. Joe Rufio, he does it naturally. That's his accent, but he doesn't have to take a class. Brooklyn. But she's teaching a class called Dialects and Accents. So she has not written the show, but she has performed it before. It's gorgeous. It's one of my favorites, and I'm counting the days till it happens.
And she's really delightful. And can you play her trailer? And you get a really great sense about who she is.
Hi, my name is Terry Wiegand, and I am bringing the solo show Every Brilliant Thing to the San Miguel Solo Festival. And Every Brilliant Thing is a brilliant play written by Duncan McMillan and Johnny Donahoe, and it's all about the little things in life that make it worth living. It deals with some really serious topics such as depression and suicidal ideation, but it's also hilarious and hopeful and all about the resiliency of the human spirit. And there's a little audience participation. But don't worry, I will not ask you to do much. Just come with an open heart. And maybe wear socks. And bring a book. It'll make sense later. I can't wait to see you at Every Brilliant Thing at the San Miguel Solo Festival. See you soon.
Pretty great, right? Yeah, she's wonderful. So the next one is Out of the Blue. I already told you about Out of the Blue. If you haven't seen it, we would really, really, really encourage you to do it. We have a very different presentation. We did this as an experiment last year, and it actually really worked well. So this is the video of opening night of 2022 of the world premiere. So it captures all the excitement of that, and it's presented on a large screen, and then at some moment in it, we kind of pop out of the screen and we perform live in front of the screen. So it's called a hybrid presentation, and we didn't know if the audiences were going to like it or not, and last year we got incredible response. People that had seen the live show and the hybrid show said they really love the hybrid because there's a lot of close-ups and, you know, some effects that are really beautiful. So it's a little bit different, but it's going to help us because we have Elizabeth set behind the screen, so we can show the screen, and when it's time for the second show, we lift the screen and move the set down, and then we're ready to go. So it also helps us in that way. And can you play the next one? Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Here's just a little bit about us, but we already told you all about all of these things, and let's play the trailer.
It's my entire life in 90 minutes or less. A musical with just one of me up there. What was I thinking?
In 2014, I was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of lymphoma.
Truth is, I'm terrified. Some part of me knows that in order to heal to the core, I've got to find a way to make peace with certain pivotal moments of my past. Why? I know that someone's out there for me, and that I'm someone's answer, and we. Just one little minute, miss.
Oh, I'm afraid for you. Go ahead, Eli.
So that's Out of the Blue. Hope that you come and see that. Want to give it a little thank you.
And then this is the second week, and each of these performers also is performing twice, and it starts with Borscht Belted. Who here has ever heard of the Borscht Belt in New York, where the Jewish comedians would go and workshop their work? It is based on that. The actor Warren Epstein was a busboy at the Borscht Belt, and he used to see all of these comedians and did a solo show based on his knowledge of their work back in the 60s.
Yeah, so he has a wonderful fictitious character that he created who is the narrator of the story. He's kind of a conglomeration of a lot of these comics. And Warren is great. He is very funny, also with a big, big heart. And what masterclass is he teaching?
He's teaching a masterclass called Finding the Funny. So it's not exactly stand-up comedy, which I know all of you are going to love this one. It is finding the funny even in those moments of our life that seemed difficult or seemed impossible to get through. He is helping us find the funny in that. And what we believe and what Warren believes is that laughter really is the best medicine. So he's helping us with that masterclass, Finding the Funny.
And here's his trailer.
Who wants to go crazy?
My name is Warren Epstein. I'm also an actor, and I do this one-man show that is mostly told through the eyes of Jimmy Greco, who is basically a composite of all the great comedians I grew up with in the Borscht Belt. For whatever reason, all the great comedians got their start in the Catskills.
My wife and I, we were happy for 20 years. Then we met.
Hey, rules are rules, huh? My grandfather, on his deathbed, sold me this watch. You know, the thing about the Borscht Belt that was amazing was this was like the cradle of American comedy. People don't realize how essential it was. Everybody from Zero Mostel to Jerry Lewis, these great comics would get their start working in the hotels.
We went to the Catskills. Where else we gonna go? Newark? We could have gone to the Hamptons. That didn't work out so well for Groucho Marx. Did you hear about this?
No, I'm sorry, but we don't allow, they don't allow Jewish people in the swimming pool?
Hey, what about my daughter? She's only half Jewish. Could she wait up to her knees? Working as a busboy in the Catskill Mountain Resorts was like trying to serve honey to bears. Hungry bears. Hungry Jewish bears. Yogi the Bastien. One of the things that I really want people to feel and leave with when they leave the show is a sense of this slice, this place, that really was special. And my feeling is the more of them that feel this, the more it keeps that place alive for just another moment. I was either going to grow up to be a comedian or a serial killer. And the mountains were the perfect place to do either one.
That's Borscht Belted. It's wonderful. And I had the opportunity to direct the show. I've been working with Warren on reinventing this whole show. We've been working together for a year, and I have to tell you, bring Kleenex. You're going to be laughing, but you're also going to be tearing up. It's beautiful.
Lynn is bringing us Being Richard Green, and Lynn tells a story of when she was growing up in the 50s. She was convinced, if that's the right word, that she was in the wrong gender. She really, really wanted to be a boy, and that was not an option for anyone in the 1950s. So she always grew up living in that body but not feeling comfortable. And when the age of 10 is when she started her theatrical career. Now she's in her mid-70s, so she has a 65-year career of being in the theater, and she is bringing us Being Richard Green. She is a pantomime artist, she's a tap dancer, and she does a phenomenal job with her show.
And she's teaching a master class called Mime and the Invisible. Part of what's so compelling about the show is, you know, now people talk about trance, but in those days there was nothing like that. So she's had to kind of figure out who that is. But because she's such a phenomenal tap dancer and mime, she uses all of that as her transitions between scenes. And she interacts with the video, so it's a multimedia presentation. And here's her trailer.
That's when I see her. Oh, I've seen her before. She is tall and graceful as she makes her way through the crowd. One finger holds a jacket that is slung loosely over her broad. Mommy, that's a lady, and she's dressed like a man. And that's exactly what I want to be when I grow up. Mommy, are you okay? I took me a walk around the men's locker rooms. I had to know what penises really look like. Because one day I'm gonna have one. Muriel, why'd you let her dress like a boy? She looks like a freak. Yeah, but I'm not a freak. I'm just beginning to feel like one. You trying to look like a boy? No. Give me your toy. Come on.
That's her becoming the bullies on the screen as well.
So you see, I'm 75 years old. And, I'm tired. This is all so confusing. That I think I'm better off just with this.
Never be a millionaire. I don't care.
So I have to tell you, full transparency, I am getting so excited watching this trailer again, knowing that on the other side of this wall, all of these performers are going to be performing next month. It's just thrilling that that's happening.
Our last show is Border People, and this was such a find. We had a cancellation because of a visa problem, and last minute we were like, who are we going to replace her with? We looked and looked and looked and came across Dan Hoyle. He's a very well-known actor in the San Francisco area, and he created something called His brand of theater is called journalistic theater. He's a journalist. He interviews people, and then he creates monologues based on who he
And
connects with.
for border people, he interviewed immigrants, migrants, and he also interviewed the border patrol officers who are responsible for the borders. And he created this piece of theater, and he plays a lot of different characters. It's a very compelling piece of theater. And bring your tissues.
Yeah, this piece is very raw, and it's also not only about physical borders, but kind of the borders within ourselves, because he interviews a lot of people in the Bronx where he was raised.
He will be teaching a master class on monologue, so how to bring your story to the stage. It is a 3-hour master class that he's teaching.
Yeah, and this is a pretty riveting show, and this is his trailer. Ready to go?
While we're waiting for Diego and for the trailer, wanted to let you know that tickets for this festival went on sale yesterday. The box office is not open until 3 o'clock today, but we do have a couple of tickets in my pocket right here. If you want a couple of tickets, see me. Somebody's raising their hand back there. Thank you.
Yeah, and also as he waits to do that, we have a calendar that shows you when each show is happening right here, because there's 2 shows each day, and they're all scattered throughout the week.
And the Cafe Santa Ana has graciously offered to open up between those 2 shows, so you don't have to leave the Biblioteca to go look for food. They will be open with a limited menu, so we get to stay here and eat.
Let's show it, because our time is
Oh, it's a
running
live theater show? Okay. Is it like comedy or drama or a little bit of both? And people come to that? So my adopted mom, she's like, yo, you can choose an American name. What do you want? I chose Mike Evans. Yeah. Which is like the whitest name you could think of. Yeah. And being able to argue is a good thing, you know, really to make your point. Like, most people don't know the difference between an argument and an opinion. That's probably why democracy is not trending. Most people don't dig that deep at all, do they, Dan? Because there's so much fear.
Could be looking at you from a freeway trailer. If you'd handle what I'm taking, separate loads, separate calls, no fine line, don't have to be dead right, 'cause dead right can go wrong.
Great. Thank you. So that's the 6 shows, starting 14th through the 23rd. As we mentioned, QA panels, masterclasses. Oh, we're excited about what's happening Saturday at 1 o'clock. We have some students that are learning how to become solo theater artists. They each have a 7-minute little scene that they've created, autobiographical, about a transformative moment in their lives. They're very touching, and it's a free event. Everyone can come. So come early so you can get a seat. It's Saturday at 1 o'clock.
And then there are 2 Q&As also on the schedule, so that you can be part of the audience and ask the actors anything about their artistic process. And I just want to end with this, if it's okay,
We need to
Eli.
go to this for a minute.
And that is the reason that we believe in this work so much is because I know the work that you do is completely transformational, and you are helping to heal generations of lives to come. But we also believe in the transformational power of theater as well. I mean, there's really something gorgeous. We started way back when, around the fire, telling stories. And live theater is continuing that history of telling stories. And we're excited to bring it to you and with you. Thanks.
And lastly, let me just say, tickets are $4.50 per show. However, there's a double bill. If you want to come see 2 shows on the same day, there's a little bit of a discount. There's 100 pesos you can save right there. This is the schedule which we have here on a bulletin board, so you can get a sense of how they're scattered throughout the 3 days and where the artist Q&A happens. And that's it, folks. Thank you so much for your attention. We hope to see you at the theater.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys. We got some nice fancy coffee mugs or whatever you want to drink out of it.
Fancy.
Those are for you
Great.
in the morning.
Thank
Does
you.
anyone have any questions for these guys? Okay. Stu?
I noticed each of the performers has a master class. Is that something that we're doing here, or is that through the online forum that we think of when we think of master?
Yeah, you're going to go to our website, smasolofest.com. We have a space where we live, where we do all of our classes, and that's where the master classes are happening. We couldn't find space here. They're about an hour to 2.5 hours, depending. And you can read all about what the classes are. And if you want to sign up, you sign up online. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay.
We'll put the information up on our WhatsApp. I knew Rob would get a kick out of that.
Here you go.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes.
Thank you. And our meeting is over. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.